And so we are finally here. Well, technically, well, technically Lent's over, as I mentioned before, but I personally like to wait until it's midnight on Saturday, so Easter, before I consider Lent over. So as such, at least in my opinion, we are at the penultimate day of Lent, which, we made it. Hooray! And it's actually quite interesting because, well, keep in mind, I always say that Fridays are awesome, but no kidding, today is known as Good Friday. So, yeah, in a lot of ways, it is a Good Friday. Good morning and happy Friday, everybody. So, with that in mind, even though Lent is over, I am going to forego having meat today one last time for, this. Thankfully, Lent's over now, and I'm never going to have to do it again until next year. So, I think I'll probably just do something simple like, a cheese pizza or something. That's fine, right? Actually, come to think of it, a place I haven't had pizza in a good while is Pudgy's. I might do that. Pudgy's will be good. Pudgy's is actually really good pizza. So, yeah, you know what my plans are. And you know what? No matter what, I can get Rita's. I go to Rita's today. That's going to be awesome. Can't wait for that. What else is there? I guess in terms of what's going on this weekend, nothing really significant. I mean, my family is personally going to what's known as Easter Vigil Mass, which is essentially a church service that takes place, really late at night. It's supposed to be, well, not that it actually is going to be, but by the time we get out, it's supposed to be pitch black. We start off with like lighting candles. It's actually really somber, really, really interesting service. I say interesting because this service could last either an hour to 2 hours, or it could potentially last from, even from, say, 7 o'clock to almost midnight. Yes. A 5-hour church service. How is this possible? Well, it's tradition for this particular service to have all sorts of religious sacraments being taken place on the same night. You have, baptisms and confirmations and first time that a child is receiving Eucharist. It's long. It can be long. Now, luckily, I actually went to St. Mary Our Mother last year for Easter Vigil Mass, and I actually got really lucky. There wasn't any of that at all, so the service was 2 hours, which is nice. But more often than not, this sort of thing is essentially a crapshoot. You're either going to get, again, a 1 to 2 hour service, or a service that does in fact last, 3-4 hours. Hopefully it won't be the case. I'm also hoping that I can find, because there are several Catholic churches in my area. I can just go to, I normally go to Corny, but that one isn't 8. It starts at 8 o'clock, which is late. Even for, now keep in mind I'm flexible and everything, but, even I have my limits. And here's the thing, I don't eat dinner until after the service is over. So, it really could be possible that, I guess I go hungry that night. I don't know. I mean, I'll think of something, I suppose. I mean, again, I'd like to go to St. Mary Mother again just because it's where I went to elementary school. You know, there's a nostalgia factor there. I'm likely to run into some people that I remember from my youth. So that's cool. Although, being as inherently lazy as I am, I really have yet to actually call and see when the service is. Oh goodness me, it's going to be rough. I'll say that, but you know, it'll be nice. Plus, if I go on Saturday night, I want to go on Sunday morning. Believe me, I've been to a church service on Easter Sunday morning. You know, 3 words for that, you know, standing room only. Like, that's how packed it is. I mean, not that I judge anyone for this, because I never do, but if you go to church on, like, Christmas morning or Easter morning, again, it's going to be standing room only, because it's mostly going to be filled with people who only go to church once a year. Now, again, I'm not going to judge anyone on that, because I'll be the first to admit myself, I do find church rather boring, but I still go every week because, you know, I guess it's something to do. You know, it's a part of the Saturday afternoon where you don't really know what's going on. You know, well, unless it's, you know, college football season, you're gonna be missing that. But for the most part, nothing, you know, significant happens. So there's that. Plus, if you go on Saturday again, you get to sleep in on Sunday. That's cool. So yeah, there's a lot of, you know, there's give and take there. Not bad. So with that in mind, you know, there's, you know, that, and plus, you know, today and yesterday was awesome. I mean, you know, I just mentioned yesterday that Hot Ones did the Truth or Dab episode. Now, for those of you who don't know, Truth or Dab is, you know, essentially how it sounds. You either, you know, Sean Evans will ask the guests a question, and in this case it was Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura, and you can either choose to answer honestly or have a hot wing, but not just any hot wing. You actually get the last dab straight up. And not just any iteration of the last dab, but all 3 iterations of the last dab. Oh yeah, there are actually 3 iterations of the stuff. Now, every single version of the last dab is made with Pepper X, but there's one iteration of the last dab that's mixed with Pepper X and the Carolina Reaper, which prior to Pepper X's existence, the Carolina Reaper was the hottest pepper in the world. Another iteration of the last dab combines Pepper X with the Trinidad Scorpion, the one pepper that actually gives the Carolina Reaper a run for its money. And then there's the last dab Redux, which is Pepper X and Chocolate Pepper X. Now, I've never had any of these sauces, much less the last dab Redux, so I have never had anything remotely resembling Chocolate Pepper X, but I can probably assure you that while it may be the color of chocolate perhaps, and again, I haven't yet to seen it, but I guarantee you it's not going to taste like chocolate. It won't. I think it's sort of falling into that one fad where we refer to something as chocolate just because of, like color or namesake or ambiance or something akin to that. Either way, you know, there's that. And it was actually a really funny episode because in the beginning, Bert Kreischer and Tom Segura really screwed up what they were supposed to do. Because literally Bert Kreischer is asked this one question, like, how would you rank these 4 comedians? So then he takes it by the wing, knowing he doesn't want to answer, and then he says, "Oh, by the way, it's this one guy," or whatever. So basically, with Truth or Dab, it's truth or dab. As in, you can just tell the truth and not have to eat the wing at all. These guys were doing both, which, led to comedy ensuing on levels that were outright hilarious. I certainly had myself a laugh or two watching it, and yeah, it was great. I had a blast watching it. Oh, man, I really am tired this morning. Don't know why either. Oh well, maybe it'll fix. Maybe the problem will take care of itself over time, or maybe I get myself some coffee or something, I don't know. But what I do know is I just got finished reading the latest chapter of One Piece, and okay, I was wrong about a couple of things. I was actually shocked at a couple of things, and it looks like next week, we're finally going to get some headway into some really big action, which is awesome. Although, I think my final thing that I saw, which is technically a minor detail, where, because right before the chapter ends, there's usually like a saying or words or something, like there's something foreboding coming up or something that's going to happen. And literally on the far right-hand side of the panel, it reads, "A thunderstorm is coming." And then you see this one image of something that's going to happen soon. And I'm like, oh, it's going to happen. It's going to be awesome. So, yeah. Sorry for being really vague about that. I don't really want to give away spoilers. All I can say is, next week is chapter 941, I believe. Let me see. I closed it out. Hold on a moment. Next week is going to be chapter 941. So, I think the Wano arc I predict the Wano arc will end, because I think it was chapter 910 that the Wano arc started. Actually, let me look it up. Hold on. Let's see. The first chapter it started was chapter 909. So chapter 909 is the first chapter of the Wano arc. And we're in chapter 940 today, which I'll put a link in the description below. I predict it'll be chapter 1000 when the Wano arc ends. Now, I'm not making this a solid, firm, guarantee prediction. Not at all. In fact, if I'm wrong about this, I'm not going to be surprised. But considering that Wano is supposed to be the biggest arc we've had since Marineford, which is saying a lot, and considering that, chapter 1000, while it's technically going to be well over a year away from now, it's on the horizon. I think if Wano arc is going to end on chapter 1000. At least that's my humble opinion. But, again, whatever happens, happens. With that being said, though, chapter 1000 is going to be huge. Partly because it will have marked well over, almost 22, even 23 years since the manga began. So, yeah, it's going to be a long one, but a fun one. In the meantime, you have these videos you could watch. You can do that. That'd be nice. So, like, favorite, turn that subscribe button. I could really support on YouTube. Follow me on the social media platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Tumblr. As always, I'm very humble. I made this video for all of you guys to watch and enjoy today. I hope that we all have a wonderful, good Friday. Or, if you don't celebrate, Good Friday, I just hope your Friday's wonderful in general. That's nice. And remember, if any of you guys ever want to talk or chat, I'm always going to be here to lend an ear. And I'll always have your back. Take care and make good choices.